Good morning, Shane, and recognize what a blessing it is to be up here in space. I'd like to thank my family for that song and also for you for all your hard work on the ground.
Thanks, Pat. Good to hear your voice.
This morning's wake-up song, entitled Redeemer by Nicole C. Mullen, played for mission specialist Pat Forrester, a day after he completed the second spacewalk, his second spacewalk of the mission, as the crew of Atlantis looks ahead to a morning off duty and looks forward to the last exchanges of supplies with the International Space Station before an anticipated hatch closure this afternoon. Falcon Console in the International Space Station Flight Control Room reports to Flight Director Annette Hasbrook that the starboard Sarge has been taken into the auto-track mode, that at 7:03 Central Time today. This view from a camera on the International Space Station, if you look closely at the lower left portion of the frame where the solar wing moves out of the boundary of the frame, you will be able to see that it is indeed moving. The starboard solar alpha rotary joint on the International Space Station just commanded into the auto track mode and has begun to move and is tracking the sun. This will go on for on and off for a couple of hours this morning as the flight controllers take data on the operation of this new hardware to ensure that it's all installed and operating properly.
Houston, Moscow, and Huntsville on 2. We're going to start the DBC a little bit early because I'm going to start it and Clay's going to finish it, or Clay and Fyodor and Oleg are going to finish it without me.
And Sunny, we're with you in Houston.
Exploration isn't necessarily always logical. It's something that comes from inside each and every one of us. I believe we're all born with this curiosity called exploration. Human spaceflight is just one aspect of exploration, but it's the one that I've been intimately familiar with over the past 6 months. So I feel I can talk to how it affects thousands of people around the world who have worked on and still work on this amazing engineering and science project we call the International Space Station. These folks, along with their families, have dedicated their lives to ensure the success of astronauts and cosmonauts. Spark that curiosity called exploration for the next generation. I'm sad to say goodbye, but that means progress is being made, and it's time for the International Space Station to grow a little more. You, the ISS, will always be a part of me, as you are a part of so many. You will pave the way for our future.
These are views on the outside of the International Space Station, showing Canadarm2, the station's robotic arm, being maneuvered. This movement of the space station robotic arm under the command of astronaut Clay Anderson, along with cosmonaut Oleg Kotov, takes the free end of the robotic arm in to grapple onto a fixture on the mobile base system. The arm is operating from the mobile base system with the secured end attached. At the end of this procedure, it will be double grappled onto the mobile base system, this putting it in a position for the end that is currently attached to the mobile base system to detach and walk off to the Destiny laboratory module. That walk-off procedure will be done later this week after Atlantis and her crew have left.
Well, it's been a great mission, but all good things come to an end. We've had a wonderful time up here with the Expedition 15 crew. We swapped out crew members and brought Clay Anderson to your crew, Fyodor. And we take Sunny Williams home. I know you'll miss her. great to work with, but it's time for her to go back to planet Earth. We're very happy about the success of the installation of the S3, S4 truss, fully operational, and many other tasks were accomplished. We faced some adversity together, but through the joint efforts of our crews and working with our excellent control centers in Houston and in Moscow, the problems were overcome and the mission was a success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, CJ2. The time is very interesting. The time coming too slowly and going too fast. And only 10 days ago we wait shuttle launch, and of course Sunny Williams wait this time very well, yes. 10 days, it's too short time, but very expressive time. And now we can say the shuttle, STS-112 and crew, shuttle crew, done very well all tasks. And of course we had some problems, and thank you very much, of course, MCC Houston and MCC Moscow, because everybody on ground worked very hard, all days, all nights, with us together, because we are one big crew, everybody. And now we would like to say goodbye, shuttle. Have a good, safe landing. Until we see again, Sunny too. And thank you for Clay.
ISS and Atlantis from your ISS flight control team. We really enjoyed working with you all throughout this docked mission. Fyodor and CJ, your crews have been truly an integrated team. We've been really impressed watching you work together through all the challenges, both planned and unplanned, of the flight. You got all the mission objectives done and then some. Congratulations to all of you.
Thanks a lot, Houston. Great working with you too.
This is Mission Control, Houston. That concludes the farewell ceremonies aboard the International Space Station Outpost as it orbits 211 statute miles over the South Pacific on a northeasterly course toward the coast of California. Commander Rick Sturko of the STS-117 crew speaking for that team, providing his thanks to the Expedition 15 crew and Commander Fyodor Yurchikin aboard the International Space Station. Sturko indicated that the Atlantis crew had a wonderful time with the Expedition 15 crew. They were happy to swap Clay and Sunny, Clay Anderson and Sunny Williams. That Williams was been a joy to work with, but it's time for her to come back to Earth. He indicated that the team was very happy with the work they accomplished with the delivery and installation of the S3, S4 truss structure and its new solar arrays, that they had faced some adversity together, but working together as a team and with the respective control centers in Houston and Moscow had managed to overcome those and have a successful dock mission. Expedition 15 Commander Yurchikin indicated that it was a very fast 10 days for him, but that the shuttle crew did all of its work very well. He thanked them for their help with the problems and thanked everyone on the ground for working day and night to support the space station. And finally, he said thank you for delivering Clay Anderson to the International Space Station. Clay will remain on board with Yurchikin and Oleg Kotov as they continue their activities in orbit.
Okay, here's the beginning of the day today. One of the things we did is Brew and I maneuvered the entire stack, and then we performed a wastewater dump with Swanee's assistance. The switches are pretty much spread all over the flight deck and the mid-deck of the orbiter, and it's a little hectic and has to be done properly to coordinate the maneuver and then the two different dumps, the SIMO dump like that, but not a big deal. We practiced it in the sim, and in coordination with our ground control team, we were all set to do this task. Here's Swanee shooting to get the correct wastewater dump valve open, and then we'll show out the side hatch window what it actually looks like. You see Brew and Swanee looking out the window now, checking it. Not sure how much justice the video is doing, but it looks kind of like snow when you see it. This may be a better view out window one of the flight deck.
And with us closing the hatches tonight, we're last-minute packing and transfers were going on pretty much all day long. And here you see Pat piling in some of the equipment and helping me out with inventorying some of the stuff going into the big bags. And we coordinated all that with Sonny. And here's Sonny's dedication in the morning.
That was a tough day today to know that I was leaving the station for the last day on station, but also very exciting to become part of the Atlantis crew and get ready to come home.
Part of the transfer had to do with getting all of the equipment that we'd use for the 4 spacewalks. Some of that belonged on station, and of course we brought up some of it, and just getting it divided up and putting it in the right place took a while.
One of the tasks we also had today was take down the IWIS sensor, the accelerometers that are used to measure certain accelerations on the station and shuttle.
Yep, we'd finished transferring some oxygen from the shuttle over to the station using the Orca pump you see there. And we had to reconfigure the cooling and the hoses.
This is a view of us taking samples that have been taken for science over the 6-month increment out of the Melfi, which is the freezer we have, minus 80 degrees freezer. And we have to do it pretty quickly because there's a time limit to ensure the temperature of the samples, then they stay frozen, as well as the Melfi itself. And I'm handing the samples off to Clay Anderson, who's putting them in a cold bag, and that's how they'll stay. Essentially, it's a cooler. They'll stay in that cold bag until we get home, so then the scientists can take a look at the science. You might notice that Clay and I have on white gloves, and that's because of the temperature, and so nobody else there can touch these pieces of equipment because it's so cold. You need to have those safety gloves on.
All right, so we're back doing more O2 transfer. Like I said, Pat and I are deconfiguring the high-pressure O2 transfer hoses and the electrical power for the Orca pump. And An O2 transfer is a critical operation because of the high pressures. The oxygen is can cause rapid combustion, so we're very careful with that. We wear surgeon's gloves and we change them, powder-free gloves, change them frequently, and make sure everything's capped and inspected before we make the connectors.
And a lot of us else, we're just helping JR out, who's our mid-deck captain and transfer officer all day long as he organized the mid-deck, receiving the last of what was coming over from Space Station.
The last little bit of transfer that we had was basically taking over the EMUs, which we had brought over from the space shuttle. These are the ones that Jim Riley and myself had used during our two spacewalks. Well, after all that, it was time to say goodbye to the crew of Expedition 15 and head on back to planet Earth. We still got a couple days to go, but an important part was closing out the hatches after we'd said our farewells. One of the last couple things that Clay and I had to do for handover was switch our American flags as the American presence on station, and then switch our Expedition 15 patches. The initial patch had my name on it, and this patch now has Clay's name, so he's officially part of Expedition 15. So you can probably see it's a little bit dark, but that's Theodore and CJ shaking hands as the hatch is getting ready to close. And that's our last activity with the station for this evening. As part of a regular maintenance on the space shuttle, we change out the lithium hydroxide canisters, which scrub the CO2 out of the air and keep the atmosphere a habitable one here on the space shuttle. And so this is a change out which occurs every day per prescribed instructions from the ground. You can see here the task is not a simple one. It's definitely something that requires teamwork.